And welcome to Career Assessment. I'm very excited to have you here with me. Now, you might be wondering, what is this assessment about? Why did I create it? So, let me tell you. I created this assessment because I see a lot of individuals running from one position to another, from one company to another, from one project to another, from one goal to another, without taking time to really pause and reflect. Am I even happy with what is going on? Am I even really fulfilled with the career that I'm creating for myself? We tend to rush from one thing to another without taking time to pause and see what's actually going on. So, this is what we're going to do today. We're going to go through this assessment together. And at the end of the time that we're going to spend together, you're going to have a very clear idea as to where you are in certain aspects of your career and what is the room for improvement. So this is what we are going to do today together. Now, especially for those of you who are new to my work, who have just found me, again, welcome, and allow me to quickly introduce myself. My name is Sandra D'Angelo, and I'm a certified career coach. I have been in the career development sector for over 10 years now. And for the past 4 years, I've been running my coaching practice where I coach my clients on how to up level their career by working on their strategy and working on their mindset. More about working with me, you will find out a bit later. Now, this is what we're going to do today. We're going to go through 11 aspects of your career. So I took and broke down your career into 11 main aspects of it. And you're going to go through those and rate each of those aspects. I'm going to be giving you some options. You're going to think about, all right, which one of these really kind of suits me or aligns with me the most in this current moment. And then you're going to give yourself 1, 2, or 3, depending on which one is the most appropriate for you at the moment. And then we're going to add them all up and you're going to see what do you need to take the next step. Now, let's agree upon something. This is a very, very important thing that I want you to really keep in mind. And that is, as we go through this exercise together, this is not meant for you to judge yourself, blame yourself, shame yourself, beat yourself up and think, oh no, what a horrible thing, right? This is meant for you to really pause and objectively reflect on what is going on from a loving and kind point of view. So we reflect on what is going on and then what can I do to further improve, change, and adjust. So once again, we are leaving any judgments outside of the door and we are getting into this exercise with an open mind and really loving and kind point of view towards ourselves. We have a deal? All right. Also, what I wanted to mention is that you're probably looking this exercise either through my website or in my LinkedIn Self-Growth Hub. By the way, if you're not a part of my LinkedIn group, join us. It's called Self-Growth Hub. And all these slides that we're going to go through today, you're also going to be able to download, right? So either you find it below this, actually, yeah, you will find it below this presentation. So you can always download these slides and you can go through this exercise at your own pace. So in case you don't manage to catch everything we're going to talk about today, don't worry, you will be able to download the slides as well. So let's start. Are you ready? So the first thing that I would like us to look into is your overall satisfaction at work. So when you think about your career, think about how satisfied are you really? And give yourself one if you're like, what's that? What is satisfaction? I haven't experienced that, or I'm not experiencing it at the moment. Give yourself 2 if you're like, I'm relatively satisfied. It could be better, but it's not that bad. So you're somewhere in the middle. You're kind of like, yeah, it's okay. You might be thinking like, nah, nothing special, not that bad, not that good either. And give yourself 3 if you're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely happy and satisfied with how things are going in a moment. Now, I also want to point out, as we go through this exercise, don't overthink it. This is like literally the first answer that comes to your mind. The next thing we're going to look into are your relationships. So when you look into your relationships at work with your colleagues, with your manager, but also maybe with your customers, depending on what job you're doing, give yourself 1 if your relationships are non-existent or very poor. And also give yourself 1 if you think that your communication skills are quite bad. So if you're like, I don't know how to communicate or I don't feel comfortable, so you tend to be more laid back and not really put yourself out there. Give yourself two if you have some connection, but you feel very unsure as to how you can really bond with your colleagues and manager and customers, right? How you can take that connection, so to say, to the next level. And then give yourself three if you have solid relationships with your colleagues and your manager, again, your customers as well. If you feel good where you're at, where you have bond, where you have a feeling of really deep understanding with each other. And yeah, you're just happy overall with where you are in terms of connection. Let's look into your productivity now. Now, give yourself one if you're easily distracted and if you like, under quotation mark, to procrastinate. So this is kind of, yeah, I'll go do that tomorrow. And you are not focused at your work at all. You get distracted by everything that's going on around you. Is it your colleagues? Is it your phone? Is it different meetings constantly going on? So you don't feel like you have things under your control. Give yourself two if you're kind of like getting by, but you're lacking consistency, right? So more often than not, you feel you're all over the place. So you kind of grasp a bit of control over your calendar, then you are completely out of it, then you're back at it again. So you kind of are having really big ups and downs as you're going through your days. And then give yourself three if you know exactly what to prioritize, you know exactly how to manage your time, and you keep yourself in action taking. Now, one more thing that I would add to this is you're also very good with setting boundaries. So give yourself three if you're also very, very good in setting boundaries and saying no without feeling guilty about it. Impact. Now, a lot of time when coaching my clients and in general when hearing different conversations around, I hear people being very concerned about, or not even concerned, but kind of, let's just say, commenting on the impact that they have in their organization. So I want you to think about that. Think about your work and think about the impact your work has on your business. So give yourself one if you're like, honestly, I have no idea how my work impacts the business. So you are working hard, you're showing up, and yet you see no tangible results of your work. Then give yourself two if you're like, yeah, I sometimes see the impact, but that's not really motivating. And indeed, it's not, right? If it's once in a while that you see the impact of your work, right? And then give yourself three if you're like, I have a very clear idea of how my work impacts my team and my business. You see tangible results, you feel confident about it. And yeah, again, you have a very, very clear vision of it. Money or your salary. Let's think about that. It's a big, big topic, isn't it? So give yourself one if you're earning way below what you'd like to earn. Oh, it's not earn. Typo, sorry about that. So again, you're earning way below what you'd like to earn. Then give yourself two if your salary is not that bad, but you wish you could earn more. Now, give yourself two also if you have spoken to your manager about it and they kind of told you, yeah, we need to think about it. Let's wait a bit, or I need to talk to the HR department, or kind of you started doing something about it, and yet you still have no clear idea as to what might change, when it might change. And I would also add to this, you also might feel a bit uncomfortable talking about it. And then give yourself three if you're happy with the level of salary and lifestyle you're currently having, and you feel that you're definitely fairly compensated. And you also feel very motivated by that. Moving on, let's talk about your development opportunities. Give yourself one if you feel super stagnant in your role. So stagnant means you're kind of doing same old same every single day, and you don't see now, what's next for you. Then give yourself two if there are some development opportunities within the company, but you're not really sure how do they even apply to you, and you didn't have those conversations yet. And also it's more about when there is some training or course being offered, you're kind of like, yeah, all right, well, I'm just going to go in it. I'm not expecting a lot. Let's see what's that about. Or give yourself 3 if you're very clear about future development in this company. You're actively working on it by taking initiative, by putting yourself out there, by committing yourself to getting certain things from different trainings. Work-life balance. Let's think about this one now, shall we? So give yourself 1 if you're like, I wish there is some work-life balance. Or maybe if you're like, what is that? So if you feel like you're literally living for the weekends, give yourself number 1. Give yourself number 2 if you're like, it's not that bad. I usually do overtime 3 out of 5 days per week and often do some little work on the weekends. And give yourself 3 if you're like, I feel like both my work and private life get exactly the same attention or get exact attention they need. So when you're at work, you're present and focused, but when you are not at work, you're really not at work. So you are also very present and focused with your family or with your friends or in general with your private life. What about your motivation and discipline? Let's talk about this one now. Give yourself 1 if you feel like you lost both of them. If it feels like it's not so excited as it used to be. Number 2 is for you if you feel like they're fluctuating a lot. So there are a lot of ups and downs. One day you're like, woo, yeah, great. And the other day you're like, nah, why am I even here? So give yourself 2 also if you find that your motivation and discipline depend very much on what is happening around you, on your external factors. And then give yourself 3 if you know how to motivate and discipline yourself, no matter what's going on around. So no matter if your colleagues are being friendly or not, no matter if your customers are being difficult or not, no matter if it's raining outside, no matter if whatever is going on, you know exactly how to boost your motivation and make sure you're self-disciplined. We have a few more to go. So let's talk about your mindset now. When you think about your career, which one of these 3 applies to you the most? Is it that you feel stuck and lost in your career at the moment? So you feel like you lost your direction, you feel confused with all different sorts of options and possible paths and what could it be for you? So you're just like, I don't even know where to start. I just feel stuck. Give yourself 2 if you tend to set super high expectations on yourself and push yourself until you're exhausted, right? Because just side note here on here, right? So expectations can feel exciting and challenging, and as we are stretching it like ourselves, to further develop and improve, but it can also feel draining and exhausting and very bad on you. So I really want you to think about the expectations you have set on yourself and how do those expectations feel. And then give yourself 3 if you are like, even when things don't go as I imagined, I have my own back and I know I will figure it out. So this is very much also connected with your motivation and discipline and how much external factors have influence on what you think, right? So this is exactly that. So no matter what's happening on the outside, no matter the circumstances, you know you will have your own back and you know you will figure it out. Upskilling. So you're number 1 if you're like, nah, I feel comfortable with doing what I already know. So you don't have this need or wish or ambition to further develop those skills, to upskill or even reskill. Give yourself 2 if you're like, I do this when I really have to do it. So when you are required to upskill a certain skill, you will then, of course, do it, but you will not be taking initiative and kind of thinking about it yourself. You're waiting to be told, essentially. And then give yourself 3 if you're actively working on upskilling and like taking on new responsibilities. So you're constantly challenging yourself to do better. You're constantly putting yourself out there. You're constantly in different conversations with your team or manager or as to how you can do more, how you can do it better, not necessarily more, but better, right? Or more effectively, or how you can further improve and really flourish in your role. And then the last one is support. So when you think about support you're currently getting in your career, are you more of a, I don't know, I can do it alone? and then you find yourself studying a lot, watching different courses, applying for 25 different certifications at once, and then feeling completely overwhelmed with everything that's happening. Give yourself 1 if that sounds familiar. Give yourself 2 if you have some colleagues who you talk to and they normally agree with how things can be hard at times, right? So you're in the same boat. Now, this can look like this. This can look like you have an accountability partner and you agree upon working towards same goal together, but then you find yourself, if you really objectively look into your conversations, you're kind of indulging into each other's stories, you're consoling each other, you're being like, oh yeah, it's really, really difficult and hard, and you tend to overcomplicate and overanalyze and overthink certain things and stay in not taking action, as opposed to, okay, this is what's happening, now what can we do about it? And then take continuous action to really overcome those obstacles. And then give yourself 3 if you're surrounded by people who inspire and challenge you, people who are there to push you, instead of indulging in your stories. Okay, so now take a moment to sum up all these numbers, and we're going to see which one of the 3 scores are you in. Now, again, I want to really remind you of our promise or rule that we said at the beginning, and that is, this is not meant for you to judge yourself or criticize yourself or blame yourself or shame yourself. We're not doing that. We don't have time for that. We're not doing that today or any other day, all right? We are objectively viewing what's happening so that you can help yourself improve and so that you can take your career to the next level. That's what I want to help you achieve. So if you have scored anywhere between 11 and 18, what you need is to start by reviewing if your current job really fits what you truly want to do. All right? I really want you to remember one thing, and that is that career isn't something that should feel heavy or something that's forced upon you or something that's like, oh, I have to do. Right? Career is something that should feel exciting and enjoyable and is something that you want to do. If you think about it, if you already need to spend hours and hours at work, don't you want to make the best out of that time? Like, don't you really? We're spending so much time at work. Why not? And make it amazing for yourself. So what you need in this moment is really processes, tools, and frameworks to help you build strong foundation for your career success. If you have scored anywhere between 19 and 25, you are in a point where you are putting yourself out there, you are showing up, but you lack consistency to see some really meaningful advancement. Okay, so what you need now is help with goal setting, help with planning, and even more than that, you need to make sure that you keep showing up regularly. So you need accountability and strategizing and really making sure again that you keep moving forward rather than move, then stop, and then think and overthink and overcomplicate, then move a bit again, then maybe go a bit step back, then step ahead, right? So to make sure that there is really consistency with your progress and to keep track of it too. And if you scored anywhere between 26 and 33, you are on the right track. Now, what you need is that extra set of expertise and push to help you get to the next level. So it's literally about this slight push for you to take this next step. Someone who is going to, you need someone who is going to help you really with, again, strategizing with mindset to ensure that you keep doing the great job you're doing, and just to maybe tweak some things to make it easier on yourself, to help you protect your time and your energy. I hope you had fun with this assessment. Now, depending on the score where you're at, depending on what you note it down for yourself. Now, again, I would encourage you to maybe go through this assessment once again in your own free time at your own pace. But I want to talk to you now further about how I can help you out with this, or how would working with me look like as your career coach. So when we commit to working together, this is what you would get. So we work together for 12 sessions. Each of these sessions is 60 minutes long. It's just you and me, one-on-one, working towards a specific goal that we set for as a goal for these 12 sessions. We work not only on the strategy, so not only are you going to learn different tools and processes and frameworks and methodologies that are individually tailored to you, but we are also going to work on your mindset. So we work on your mindset because not like you can apply all sorts of strategies and all sorts of processes and all sorts of tools, but if you don't learn how to manage your mind, you're going to constantly be going back to the same roadblocks that you have been encountering already. After each session, you get a written follow-up, right? So I send you a written follow-up on everything that we talked about and on the action plan that we agreed upon. So you can always go back to those notes, reflect, revise, and also, of course, prepare for the next session. You get Ask Your Coach support between sessions. So each of my clients has Voxer. This is something like WhatsApp, and this is something that we use to communicate with each other between sessions. So if there is any question you have, if there is a challenge that you're encountering, if there is something that you would like us to celebrate, you're always welcome to get in touch with me. And you get access to my proven coaching tools and other resources that are, again, tailored to your unique learning and development. I am a big believer that there is no one size fits all approach. And that's why it's so very important for me that every client of mine gets different frameworks, so to say, not really different frameworks, but that we adjust our approach and pace and everything we do depending on their own learning and development styles. And we also, as we go, we continuously reflect on what is happening and we keep track of progress that you're making. Now, what can you expect? What are you going to start seeing once we start working together? You're going to grow your self-concept. Now, if you aren't familiar with that term, self-concept is the way you see, the way you think, and the way you feel about yourself. Some of you might have a very strong self-concept. You're very sure about how you present yourself. You're very sure about how you come across. You are very confident about yourself. But also some of you have a bit of a, how can I say, maybe a self-concept that isn't the most useful to you. So you might think that the work you're doing is not that important or the things that you have to share are not so valuable. I want to help you change that. I want to help you create a self-concept that is useful for you and that is aligned with where you see yourself in the future. We're going to work on aligning your values, your strengths, your core nature, your skill set with your career path. It's so very important that all of these are on the same track. And this doesn't matter if you, for example, are looking to change an industry or you're looking to develop in your current company or whatever it is. We always want to make sure that your value, strength, core nature, skill set, interest, passions, and so forth, that's all aligned. I'm going to guide you through an exercise where you're going to do all this in a very simple and fun way. You're going to learn how to make career decisions confidently without seeking, oh, what do you think? Oh, what do you think? But should I really go for it? Or should I not go for it? What would you do in my shoes? You're going to learn how to trust yourself and your judgment. That is so very important. You're going to start taking simpler, yet more impactful actions instead of feeling all over the place. Now, one of my big goals for each of my clients is that instead of adding more and adding, we want to reduce as much as possible and simplify as much as that goes. Right? So instead of adding more, we're going to view what's happening and we're going to commit to taking simpler but much more impactful actions. You're going to boost your self-discipline and motivation. You're going to learn how to keep motivated and disciplined no matter what's happening and no matter how you might not feel like doing something. And the good news about this is that as you're boosting your motivation and self-discipline in your career, you're automatically kind of doing that in also all other areas of your life. You're also going to be so much more effective and comfortable in communication. You're going to learn how to communicate easily, how to have fun with it, and how to be so clear and specific that others are totally clear about what is that you mean, what is the value, and get on board so much more easily. You're going to improve your time management. So oftentimes I hear my clients telling me I'm not in control over my schedule. I feel like I'm constantly rushing from one thing to another. We're going to work on that. and you are going to take back that control over your schedule. You already have it. We're going to learn how to prioritize, how to goal set, again, in a simple but a very, very effective way. You're going to stop overthinking and holding yourself back. So we're going to move from overthinking, overanalyzing, indulging into stories and thinking all sorts of things to knowing how to manage your mind and indulge only with useful thoughts and beliefs. You're going to strengthen your relationships with others, but also much more important, like more importantly, with yourself. Because by strengthening your relationship with yourself, you are inevitably going to strengthen relationship with others too. You're going to create, and not only create, but know how to keep a healthy work-life balance. Because balance is not something that you create once and that's it. Balance is an ongoing work. It's a work that never stops. So you're going to learn how to create it for yourself, but then how to maintain it and how to keep it. But also in those moments when you get maybe out of it a bit, you will know how to get back to it. And overall, you're going to learn tools and frameworks to ensure your continuous improvements also after our journey together. As your coach, my goal is not to make you dependent of me, but exactly the opposite. My goal is to get you to the point where you continuously, or where you continue to improve, develop, grow in like by yourself, to kind of be able to coach yourself. And I'm going to teach you different tools and frameworks and methodologies for you to be able to do that. So what is next for you? If all this resonates with you, if you would like to know more about it, if you would like to see how would working together look like for you, I invite you to book a free consult call with me. So this is what's going to happen during our call. We're going to spend 60 minutes together. The point is for us to get to know each other and really see if we're the fit to working together. During that call, there are 3 parts we're going to work on. Firstly, we're going to do the career audit. So we're going to analyze different aspects of your career. So something like this, but in a bit of a different form. And I'm going to show you different perspectives and opportunities for you. Then we're going to create an action plan. So you're going to get an overview of how to get from where you are to where you wish to be. And then we're going to decide if we're the fit to working together. And if yes, we're going to go ahead and book our first session. So comment below or message me or email me to book your free consultation. I'm looking very much forward to hearing from you, to getting to know you, and to potentially work together. So once again, thank you for being here with me. I hope you had a lot of fun, and I'm going to talk to you soon.